We gotta get the ball to Steph Curry. I don't know why this. I think this is funny, but it's funny to me, guys.
Because it's funny. Is he yelling at his teammates, or is he celebrating his first made basket of the year? I'm not sure. Because he didn't make a basket
He has like 6 points on the season.
I'm not sure.
Why would you bring that up? He has like 6 points on the season. He's getting started.
Be nice.
One made
basket. Nice, Nick. Oh, here we go.
Okay, look. Here, I'm going to give you some fashion advice, some recipe advice, mostly fashion advice. Sometimes you can do too much. You know what they always say, like take off one accessory before you leave the house. So if you got an outfit on, you got too much going on, just do one thing less, you'll be better off. Same with Luka here, Nick, your adopted Slovenian son. Too much here. This last move there, air ball. Too much. I think when you guys were working on the cobblestone streets of Slovenia, I feel like you taught him your enthusiasm for his prospects. You overdid it a little bit, and this is what happens. I don't know if you want to dial it back next time you guys meet or what your plan is.
Yeah, listen, one too many dream shakes there. A little too much. He was trying to be Akeem. They're playing the Rockets. I understand. It was an homage to the 11th greatest player ever, but he did too much. You're right. You're right. I'll talk to him. Yeah, I'll talk to him about it. It's a good point. An homage to Akeem. I get it. It's a good point by you, Wilds. Oh, speaking of good points, good tweets. So the Sixers, my pick to go to the finals out of the East, they have the best record in basketball. They're 6-1. They're blowing folks out so much so they don't got to play starters in the fourth quarter. Cue the tweet. So the NBC Sports Philadelphia says Sixers taking their starters out. No one tell the Giants. All of a sudden, random Twitter user, Giants fan in his avatar says, begging for interactions, I see. NBC Sports Philly says, we're not done here. Off the top rope, begging for the playoffs we see. That, my friends, is good social media. Excellent job, NBC Sports Philly social media manager. That is well done.
So I'm watching the Miami Heat game last night. No, I wasn't, but I saw highlights this morning. And I see these uniforms, and I can only imagine the yin-yang conversation, the yin-yang pull in the R&D lab when they were coming up with these dumb colors. They were like, oh, we need to be fun and flashy and flamboyant, like a flamingo. No, we need to be serious and conservative and blue like the Eastern Conference champs. No, flamingo. Eastern Conference champs. Flamingo. Eastern Conference champs. What do? They go halvesies. I don't like halvesies. I don't like halvesies on cleats. I don't like halvesies on shorts. I don't even put half and half in my coffee. Make a decision, move forward. You want to be with the Lakers at the very end, still standing? Make a decision. This like half and half, it's going to get you absolutely nowhere. I'm sorry, not into it. So I agree with you. Wilds, I'm giving out some fashion advice this morning. Very strong take.
Oh, sure.
But let's get back to the NFL now. Been a rough week for the New York Giants. Not only did they miss out on the playoffs, but think about the way it happened. The Eagles benching Jalen Hurts for Nate Sudfeld, only down 3 versus Washington with the NFC East title hanging in the balance. Giants head coach Joe Judge was asked about it yesterday. He paused, took a swig of truth serum, and then said this.
Obviously, players have asked me throughout the day, and I just can't express that. I think one thing to keep in mind with this season is we had a lot of people opt in to this season. Okay? We had a lot of people opt in. All right? Coaches, players. That includes family members as well. All right? So to look at a group of grown men who I asked to give me effort on a day-in, day-out basis and to empty the tank, and then I can look them in the eye and assure them that I'm always going to do everything I can to put them at a competitive advantage and play them in a position of strength. To me, you don't ever want to disrespect those players and their effort and disrespect the game. The sacrifices that they made to come into work every day and test before coming in, to sit in meetings spaced out, to wear masks, to have shields over those masks, to go through extensive protocols, to travel in unconventional ways, to get text messages at 6:30 in the morning telling them practice was going to be canceled. We have to do a virtual day. Okay, to tell them, please don't have your family over for Thanksgiving. Please avoid Christmas gatherings. We know it's your wife's birthday. Let's make sure we put that one off to the off season. There's a number of sacrifices that have been made by all the players and coaches in this league. There's a number of sacrifices that come along as well with the family members of the people connected to them. To disrespect the effort that everyone put forward to make this season a success for the National Football League, to disrespect the game, by going out there and not competing for 60 minutes and doing everything you can to help those players win. We will never do that as long as I'm the head coach of the New York Giants.
Let's go.
All right, Nick, what was your reaction to Joe Judge's comments?
Let's go.
That was as outrageous of a press conference performance by a head coach as I can ever remember. The national pity party that is being thrown for the downright terrible New York Giants has to end. You know how the New York Giants could have made the playoffs? Not be awful. There's 8 divisions in the NFL. 5 of them, the Giants would have finished 4th or worse. They won 6 games this year. 5 of those 6 wins came against Kyle Allen twice, Brandon Allen, Carson Wentz, and Andy Dalton. The idea that they have somehow been wronged because Daniel Jones tripped on his own feet 2 months ago, cost him a win, or otherwise we wouldn't be having this stupid conversation. It's just outrageous. But I would have been fine letting all that go if he would have just said, our guys were disappointed, our guys were bummed, whatever it is. But for Joe Judge to pretend like the COVID protocols and coronavirus was affecting one team in this league, his team, and not all 32, is insulting and ridiculous. Like, hey, guess what, Joe Judge? Everything you described there, every single team went through. Everything you described there has been what the NFL went through all year long in all 32 locker rooms. So the idea that there's some special dispensation, yeah, sure, not just the NFL. Brandon's absolutely right. All of us, all of our lives, we're all putting off birthday parties. We're all putting off Christmas. And the idea that Doug Pederson and the Eagles, when they're deciding what they think, right or wrong, is best for the future of their team, they should have been like, well, I'm not sure Daniel Jones got to do all of the birthday celebrating he wanted to this year. Let's help him out. It's an absurdity. It's stupid and wrong. And I know that's your guy, Wilds, but it was a ridiculous, histrionic performance of a coach of a bad team.
All right. I have a few things. One, to the Daniel Jones birthday celebration, they actually did help him out. So you're wrong on that point, because by losing the game, the Giants get to go home and he gets to have his birthday celebration. So that's point number 1 where you're incorrect, Nick. Point number 2, this is who Joe Judge is. And when you know, would be weird, and I would agree with you that it felt performative if he wasn't doing this all year long. If he wasn't saying, not referring to guys by their last names because it's a unified team. If he wasn't taping tennis balls onto guys' hands or sliding in the mud or making people do laps. We know that this guy seems like a caricature, but he's actually the character. He's actually this football coach from a movie who's sitting there and giving you the straight 100. So the question I have for you is this: what do you want the guy to say, knowing that that's who he really is? He's not being inauthentic. You want to say, oh, well, that's the way it goes.
It's so easy.
I don't know.
That is such an easy question. Here's what you say. Here's what you say, and I'll throw it to you, Brandon. Coach, you know, I'm sure you guys were watching the Eagles game. I'm sure you had some disappointed players. What did you say to your guys? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Here's what I told them, and it reinforces what I've been telling them all year. In the National Football League, you never want to leave your fate in the hands of anyone but yourself and your 52 brothers in this locker room. And this offseason, when everyone is considering, should I sleep in? Should I do this extra rep? Should I run this extra mile? I want them all to think about the 3-point loss in week 4, the 2-point loss midway through the season, and say, could I have made one extra play? Because if we win one extra game, we're division champions and we're hosting a playoff game. We didn't, and that's why we're not there. It's not because of anything that happened outside of this locker room, but I appreciate that question, and I hope you have a wonderful new year. That's what Joe Judge should have said, Brandon, but he chose not to.
Jenna, we might as well move on to the next topic because I don't know what to add here. Nick is absolutely right. Like, if it means this much to you, then win more than 6 games. You play in a sport where you control your own destiny. You pick your coaches, you draft your players, you pick your players in free agency. You have guys walking the street that you're saying, hey, this could be a dude that we can bring in. Like, you control your own destiny. So I get the whole protect the integrity and protect the shield 100%. But at the end of the day, you control your own destiny. Right? Like, so don't worry about the Eagles. Don't worry about any other team. Focus on what you can control. And that's not just in sports. That's just in life. So you're so upset about what the Eagles did. You need to be upset about everything that Nick just said. Like, what about that player giving up that bomb on Monday Night Football? What about that guy missing the tackle? Let's talk about those moments and less about what the Eagles and what they're doing in their organization. Because the reality, if you really want to do that, you want to point fingers, then let's go back to 2017 when I was playing for the New York Giants and we benched Eli Manning for Geno Smith. The same exact thing happened. And it's not the scenario was a little different, but I say that to say this. They were thinking about what does the Giants look like next year and the years after that. So they thought that they liked Geno Smith. That he was doing some amazing things in practice. I was there. So they